Hello Fly Nation and welcome to the Freestyle Your Life podcast, the one and only podcast inspiring you to live your authentic greatness while teaching you that less is more. I'm your host, Anesta Zimmermann, and I'm on my mission to help you to be the hero you were meant to be and to live what you came for in life and in business. Remember, the quest we came here for is to discover our true nature, explore our potential and share it by living. So I'm so happy and honored to have you here. So Nancy was a former president of Goldman Sachs, and you will tell us how you went from the brokerage to the nutrition and wellness and practice you did there. So today you have the total wellness empowerment and the podcast also. By the way, I did listen to the episode with Rahn, which we both know from Tampa. It was amazing. So I will do the review tomorrow because I'm just so packed at the moment here. I will keep it in mind. And you have the podcast there, and yeah, talking about the podcast, it's I just love it, but it's not what you see in the first place is the two of us here in the interview, right? But it's so many work in the background. So to prepare for the interview, right? So have to look it up, everything you're doing there. For example, it's let's take you, and to know what the speaker is doing and to really have it in alignment, right? Not this is Nancy and she's got me up today and nobody knows what she does, right? That's a completely different interview. So I always do the introduction separately again, just before that, to introduce you even more. So I don't know it by heart, so I can read it. But I don't want to have it here because that doesn't look good if I read too much, right? So I put that in head, but all the facts and details and numbers and everything, that's edited differently in another shot. And so that's quite a lot we have to do there with all the editing and the show notes, and it's a big thing, right? So I'm curious how you organize yourself there. Maybe have a better thing than me. But I'm creating new workflows just by going through that and discovering, that might be better like that and that. And with my technical assistant, so we don't do the work both. And it's just setting up systems, right? So it's totally fascinating, but I had so many 38 interviews now in a row. So almost three to four a day. And that was quite a lot. And I still have another company. I have two companies to run here and still have things to do besides the podcast. So, it's a lot to do.
It's a good, you really have to, like you said, get the processes in place and also think about work-life balance, right?
Yeah.
So I was always in awe of how my son Mark did podcasting, and he kept saying, you really have to get into the podcasting, and he did like 350 episodes already, but I saw the commitment that he put into it, and for years and at such a young age. And I was like, I don't think I want any part of that, because it's another demanding outlet, just like social media. But what he kept saying, and I really saw it click at the New Media Summit, was that, Mom, I have access to Seth Godin. I have access to this one, that one, and you get to ask them your questions. This is the new way of making connections. And I really didn't get it. I was like, oh, that's nice, because I come from brokerage, and then because of my son's illness when he was young, I ended up becoming a functional medicine specialist and nutritionist and opened up my own practice. I didn't think I needed podcasting, but it really, you get to learn so much. And yes, with everything in life, there's going to be time commitment and you could get overwhelmed in the process. So how you deal with that is exactly how you're dealing with it. Through trial and error, you create processes. And you get a virtual assistant or someone to help you with the things you prefer not to do. But the value is not only for you, but for your audience. And there are connections made throughout the world that, when I first was in the workforce, I always explain there was no social media, there was no podcasting. The internet was something that only the military and the government used. And it was very hard to connect to people throughout the world. But now this is what you have with podcasting, and you could use it to empower others.
Right. And that's just what we do, right? Because we really can inspire others and have an impact on them just by sharing our stories and the expert stories we bring on, right? So this explained everything why you left the path there from the brokerage, right? How you came to functional medicine, because you first had the problem yourself, right? So the son being ill. What did he have exactly?
He had a liver disorder and multiple allergies. So he couldn't process. Yes. He couldn't process ammonia, and the doctor's future for him was very bleak. So they didn't have any answers.
So did that heal?
Yes. So it was a very long journey, so I'm not a biology science person. I'm a numbers person and technical person. But for him, I just wanted to, when I'm on my deathbed, I just wanted to be able to say I did everything I could to help heal him. If it worked, that would be great. But if it didn't, at least I did everything, because doctors didn't have the answer. So that was my driving force. And then there are tests. Their functional medicine testing is you gain insight into how your body's functioning, from 74 markers for your GI tract, your adrenal system, your neurotransmitters, your nutritional markers, everything. And from that, I really researched each one of those markers and looked at the imbalances and worked on that using food as well as supplementation, homeopathic, different things. And then nothing short of a miracle, he healed. So I feel that was a higher purpose that drove that whole healing process, which, what do they say? Pray to God, but row to shore. So you could pray, but you have to also take action. And that's, and then instead of going back to brokerage, I opened my own practice because so many people asked me to help. And I had doctors sending me their impossible cases. I would say, my gosh, can you send them to me when they're half alive? Like they are really in a bad situation. But the doctors already exhausted their testing, and that's, so that's the story there, going from corporate and then entrepreneurship. So then how do you empower others? My whole goal is to empower others to become their best health advocate through podcasting and social media and live videos is how you get the message out, which is fantastic.
Yes, but it's so honorable what you did there to be at the point, and I know exactly how this feels because this was my own case, how I came to all what I'm doing here. And most of the time it is, right? In the second half of our life where, we tend to do what we are here for, right? And that would be fantastic if we discover it and find it out and align with it and live it and share it by living it. And it's not just about work, it's about the thing and the mission we have here, and the how should I put it into words? Well, I believe we all come here for a purpose, right? For a special reason. What we, you, me, everybody of the listeners, our sons, have to bring to the whole universe, right? And everything sort of has his place, but first, being born, we had everything in us, and we still have it. We sort of lost it by getting life in the way, right? So if we watch our sons being around 20, let's say like that, they are all about that age, and so this is easier for the listeners to relate, so they know what we are talking about. So they are still sort of freaking out and breaking free, and but we in our age, of course, well, we have some couple of years on our back, right? And there have been good things and bad things, and we after all, we sort of, everybody tries to fit into the system and the society and everything, but what I discovered in my own field and my own life was I was the same. I was helping always everywhere, but at the end of the day, with 2 sons, being a single mom and 2 companies, there was no minute for myself, right? And I did this over years. So that, of course, couldn't go in the right direction, and there was not at all any balance. There was only work, and so I had to transform everything, because that led me into illness. And one factor in my life was also that I'm very sensitive, I'm very empathic, and I always felt if I say no to something, the disappointment of the other person, right? So I tried never to say no, but of course that was totally unhealthy for myself, right? Because exactly. I was running all over the place, and this is just not possible. And that's how I came into this game. And that's why I'm sharing this today, because like in your case, it was just, the doctors said there was no idea no more, right? There was, I was sort of given up, and I tried everything for myself. So that brought me from school medicine and 18 operations to functional medicine, because I had to heal myself. They didn't, right? They couldn't. So that's the interesting part behind how we
It's fascinating. It's fascinating that especially many people, I think there's a shift now, but 100% in the past, whatever your medical practitioner said, you believed. And words have power, but they have power to heal or hurt a person. Yes. So I see a lot of female patients who are put on certain medications because they go to their doctors and they say, oh, this is the health condition, these are the symptoms. And they say, well, we'll try this test, we'll try that. And nothing really shows up. You know, some of their tests are helpful, but if you really want to gain insight where the imbalances are across different systems, they're limited. So these female patients they'll listen to them for a limited time, and then they'll say, oh, are there any problems in your relationship, or this or that, are you feeling depressed? Here, take these medications.
Yeah.
They really are not listening. But if you keep going to the doctor several times with the same complaints and they can't figure it out, what I've seen in my own practice is they put them on the same medications and they're not being heard. And it could be that it's limited tools and lab testing that they're taught in their medical school. It could also be because of healthcare and insurance. There's not enough time to spend with their patients, but it's limited. More and more people are looking to figure it out, not become their own doctor, but become their own researcher, detective, and say, well, what about this? And what about that? And I see that these healers come from a personal experience and they want to share that with others.
Yeah.
So there's a shift. There's definitely a
I can totally relate, and so glad you bring that up, Nancy, as that's what I'm observing, right? So the people, they like you and me and plenty of others out there, they had a problem themselves first, and then didn't want to accept bad diagnosis and nothing to do, right? I couldn't accept that. I still had 2 young sons, right? How can I accept we don't have no idea you'll probably die? How could I accept that diagnosis, right? That was shocking more than anything. So I went on my own research and did so many trainerships, not to work on that, but I just wanted to find out what's going on here, right? That's why we are sort of really genius in this area now. And
exactly.
that's the wonderful thing we can do with podcasting. Now podcasting comes into play. That's how we got to know each other, is that we reach so many people, we reach so many wonderful experts, right? Like we discover we almost have the same path, right? I come from the real estate originally, and I still have that business with other stuff there, and because I said no, I will concentrate on this being authentic, as authenticity is my my topic here, and this is so important. I need to bring this out into the world, right? And set give the system and share what I discovered in so many years doing it for myself.
Exactly.
And that's our mission, to inspire and to motivate people. Yes, is it a struggle, and is it a hard way? Yes, maybe, probably, right? If you suffer from illness, but in the most cases, if you're willing to dig deep and to find the root cause, right, like we did, it's manageable to come to the better, right? Even if it's sometimes it's even healed. So and this is not done with cutting something off or taking drugs, right? Because I was so long on, in my case for the cancer, I was so long on real heavy medication that all the other systems, like the belly problem from the drugs, right? There's a total interaction, and that everything got worse with all the drugs, and I didn't see that the drugs even did help me.
Right. Exactly. Lots of times the drugs are so toxic, you don't know if the patient passes from the actual first disease or the treatment.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. But then they so many of us have the the doctor in the white robe, right? There's still some authority inside, and well, but yeah, I think we need to take charge of our own life, and now we have that totally in common in all the different fields we are acting here, and so many people just gave it to the doctors or to whomever, right? So this is not a good thing. This might not be leading to fulfillment. That's what I'm guessing, right? So it's
Exactly.
everybody's decision, but I'm totally no fan of giving responsibility and charge away.
Exactly. Even with when someone comes in and does testing, when I get the results, I put together a whole report, I interpret the results, and then I put together a customized regimen. And I say, listen, I want you to understand your results first, because now this is the results, it's interpreted from the markers and the science of the person's body. Here's my recommendations. You have to be comfortable with them, and you know your body best. But at least I could provide black and white science of where the imbalances are and where we need support. And then recommendations, again, they have to know their body. So I always say, you talk about being authentic. I think being authentic starts with knowing who you are, being mindful not only of how your body is functioning, but being mindful of your thoughts, your goals, what you want in life, because that is really who you are. No one can tell you that. And from there, you do everything. You pick your career, your passion, your health, how you balance it all. So first, it is being authentic and mindful. And then everything else should fall into place.
Right, exactly. And this is a lot of inner work and of course mindset shift and healing the emotional path to it. Right now, we all have some bad emotional experiences. It's
past experiences. And we see this with kids too. Kids have it. So they go to, if they're not homeschooled. So if they are homeschooled, then whoever homeschooling them, they're really they can be molded by that person. If they go into regular educational academia, then it's who their teachers are, the teachers or whoever's around them, their peers, putting limits on them, telling them where they have to go, telling are they falling into peer pressure to eat and act a certain way? So being authentic should be something taught at a very young age. And the only way it could be is if the caregiver is authentic and can find their inner self. So that's a great place to start, is whoever is in charge of this child finding their authentic voice and their core values, and then going forward. Because if your core value is to be healthy and mindful, you're not going to eat garbage, and you're not going to do vices that hurt your body or the child. So it really starts there. It starts from within.
Yeah, that's exactly what I say. Right. So how could you manage to have these wonderful sons there? So Mark is the older one, right?
Mark is the younger one. So
Mark is the younger one?
Yes.
Okay. Mark is very successful with his podcast, and Michael, I especially love him. I just love him. And I had him on the podcast here, I think 3 weeks ago, and Mark is about coming up next week or the week after. it was just incredible. And I heard a talk of him, and yeah, they are specialists on their field of experience, what they do there, and in their expertise, but they are also very professional in how they behave. So uh, Michael was totally like a speaker. He was here, right? At that young age. I'm so fascinated from him.
Well, thank you. I am blessed that they call me mom.
Uh,
I am blessed. I just, I have several core values that I was lucky enough to share with them.
mm-hmm.
And, I always say, many people say, "Oh, you did a good job." And I said, well, you know what? I'm not going to take any credit. They were good seed, and all I had to do was water them. So I really do beat to my own drum when it comes to parenting, and I felt that it was a blessing that we were able to have Mark heal, and the focus was not only internal as far as what we fed our whole family, but there was a spirituality. Like I feel like everyone, and I don't care if you call it universe, God, who, whatever you call it,
Right.
it doesn't matter what religion, we are all human. And I think fundamentally we all want to be loved. So if we put that at the forefront, and not to be like, oh, Woodstock hippie, love, 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 but how can we do good towards ourselves and towards others? And
Yes.
I always wanted to instill on helping other people out. So Michael and Mark started a nonprofit 501c3 5 years ago, and it teaches underprivileged kids, single moms, and veterans. And they have a program for the past 5 years that they do at Fordham University in the summer, and it's teaching someone to find their passions and combat fear and turn those passions into a business, and how they can propel themselves and let people hear about them through marketing, and even make, like either a side hustle or explore all these different things. And I was very happy that they wanted to empower others. So whatever we do in life, we look to always empower others. And to do that, you have to be empowered. You have to feel confident. You have to stand strong. You have to be healthy of mind, body, and spirit. And that was my focal point. And then instilling words, like I mentioned before, have such power, and we can use them to make the other person feel better, as opposed to using them to bully them, or using social media to bully someone. No, we could use social media like this, and because this to me is an extension of social media, YouTube, Facebook Lives. We could use that to empower others. But
yes, totally.
So that's really what it was all about. And speaking, I think the younger that a person could speak in front of an audience, the better it is. If they go in the conventional, traditional route and they go for a job, they have to be interviewed. They need to present themselves. They need to feel confident. So I would always be like, I would want them to be confident, but always no ego, never an ego. Be humble, always be humble. So if we could balance that in a person, and that would be wonderful, keeping in mind your words could do good or bad. If you are successful in life, you give to others. So I like to raise achievers and givers. So that was like the whole basis of it. And I learned from them. I'm a better person because of Michael and Mark. I constantly learn from them. So.
Yeah, that's so wonderful. Yes. That's a participation we all have, right? It's a collaboration after all. So right, we are sort in a equivalent field here, and we just support and help each other, right? I was
Exactly.
never for competition, and I was always, even in the other business, I was always a fan of joint ventures.
That's
Because,
the best.
right? Because fight what for, right? There's nothing to fight. Not fight against anything or fight against illness or what my life lesson was. There's nothing to fight, not against me and not against nobody else. And
Exactly.
once we come to that point, there is peace, right?
And no envy, no jealousy, so lots of people will, if someone builds a house, they want to build a bigger house or this or that. But, my husband would always say, if someone did really well, he's like, good for them. Good for them. I'm so happy for that person. So I love the fact that he also is very like, that's fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
But you do see a divide, and I would love the world to get rid of that divide, and realize we're all humans here for a limited time, and we don't know how long. We hope it's a long time here, but you don't know. So why not make a positive impact? You can make a positive impact on someone every day with a smile, with a
Yes.
kind gesture. Not
Yes.
putting yourself vulnerable, like don't go into a dangerous situation and think you're going to turn people around automatically with that smile. But why not your goal to make someone's life better for that day?
Right, and that's a smile, or I love to hug, you know that, because that's a really expression of appreciation, of love, right, and of come together, and that's why I love it that much, and it's emotion involved, right? So this transports even much more, but nowadays, and I had this with several speakers up here, is people talk less in person or meet less in person, right? So many have their Facebook friends. I don't do it because I use social media for my business, and once I'm done with the interview here for today is 8 o'clock in 8 o'clock p.m. already, so tomorrow is holiday, and I will just close down here, and that's it, right? So I'm done with social media, right? Because I use it for business, and I will go to see a friend and have a lovely glass of wine. That's how I do it, or how it was in former times. But more and more people, of course, and the youngest, even more than our age, they are on the phone and the mobile and on the laptop all day and night, right?
Right.
So yeah, you can see the studies and isolation in big cities, especially here in Frankfurt, for example, or New York, wherever, you name it. Yeah, so many people alone, right? The others are alone too, but nobody knows each other and nobody meets each other. And less people on the street say hello, right? If you're passing by. So yeah, it's sort of everybody's ego driven and just looking for themselves. And I notice it by driving the car. So this is really aggressive out there. So
Oh, yes.
Out of my way, this is my way, right? So nobody just letting the other one pass or say thank you or whatever. It's getting rough out there.
It is.
That's what I really realize.
Right. So that more and more emphasis on empowering others and really helping them out. And I will say, when when Michael and Mark run that program for the youth, and they come from really tough backgrounds. I mean, I'm actually, the first day I'm a little concerned. What I see with the youth is in their eyes, they've been so hurt that they've closed off their emotion. And now it takes about 2 days for them to realize and appreciate and be grateful that someone really believes in them for no gain, but for them.
Yes.
And when they realize that, they say, wow, you changed our life because, you believed in us. Our own parents don't believe in us, or we come from broken families where this one's incarcerated, this one's no longer here. And it's very interesting. So I don't know and I have seen this on the road. There's a lot of road rage. Lots of people, when you go into a social setting, they'll be on their phones. So they're disconnected. They're not even observing their environment.
Right.
They want a quick fix. Everybody wants a quick fix to lose weight, get better.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of aggression. And I don't know if that's just the time change because of technology, or we have just totally lost our patience, but there is a change nowadays. We need a swing back.
Right. But I think all of this is not, we will not turn it into the better by refusing it, but by integrating it.
Exactly.
Right. And that's what I learned. So I had to integrate my female side and part much more, because I was so sort of masculine driven and managing everything and working and doing, but I ended up always without rest, and that's not healthy. So this doesn't work out. So I'm totally relating to you. We need to balance things, and whatever is out of balance, we must bring it into balance. And that's why we have so many tests that even most people don't know what you're testing there. What gives us real details where to look at, right?
Exactly.
So,
I also feel like the aggression is there's an imbalance in neurotransmitters on the border of mental health issues. So if lots of these people, you probably wonder, like, what are they eating? Are they sleeping? How do they deal with stress? What's their dopamine and serotonin levels? Are they too high in excitotoxins? And then lots of our food in the States are loaded with toxins that raise the excitotoxin level. And perhaps that also, there's so many factors in living a healthy lifestyle and being at peace and not being so agitated. So it could be all of these things: their upbringing, their environment, the food they're intaking, the neurotransmitters are imbalanced. And they're really not going to get to the root cause. And then they all want to calm down. So they usually go to some type of vice to calm their adrenal system. But they don't know that's what they're doing. So I think that we know that there's an opiate crisis epidemic. And I think that it all comes to play with the aggression that we're seeing as well. So, like you said, we're aware of it, and then just getting the message out that there is an answer, so if you're feeling agitated, if you can't control your temper, if you're, short with everyone, if you're compulsive and you want it done right now, you should look at keep a food journal. Keep a journal on how much sleep you're getting, what you go to, what's your triggers, and what do you go to comfort yourself.
Yeah. So this is really essential. I totally relate on that. And mostly by taking drugs, which we of course get by the doctor, which of course nearly don't have time for us to really look deep, right? And for us, is we don't want to um, go out of the comfort zone, and we sometimes we're even scared and don't know what to do, and have a doctor there who doesn't know and who doesn't really look deep and has time, and that's really challenging, right? So we rather take a drug and but we put another layer on it,
Exactly.
right? In my opinion, it's just like that, and it's maybe it's taking off the symptom, but it's never uh, healing the core issue there, right?
Exactly. 100. You're numbing
Because
it.
it even doesn't touch it.
Exactly. And that's the problem with conventional medicine, at least here in the States. It's reactive, not proactive. So they react to every symptom, and to react is another medication. So if a person can't detoxify, now all the toxic elements of that medication could be building up. So they might not have like an anaphylactic reaction. It may take years and years of accumulation, and now something else shows up.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
it's a problem. It's just a big problem all around.
Right. Yeah, and that's just necessary to point that out. So even if it's uncomfortable, right? But it's totally necessary, and makes sense to look deep to find the root cause, right? We both know that. And not to cure it with another drug, right? I did 1.5 year detoxification for myself because of all the drugs the doctors gave me, like pain killers, right? Because of my back pain and everything.
And
One and a half year.
how did you feel during that detoxification? Did you
It
have
it was terrible, and yeah, because I have the peacemaker and this and that, and it was so much, and whenever a real bad flu, for example, came up, and they say, we need this and this and this, and be careful, and and I didn't want all that drugs, right? And I sort of refused, but then I thought, maybe I should listen. They are the doctor, right? And until all this messed up so much that I really, yeah, I already saw the other side over there. So I decided for myself, this is the only chance I have, and I need to listen to my healer inside, right?
beautiful? Yeah.
And my body assisted me in the way that he didn't accept anything I wanted to take in, right, from nutrition. No, nothing. I was, and I never had allergies against something to eat or to drink. Just some things in with the skin, but not from eating. And there was a turning point. I didn't. I couldn't eat no dairy, no gluten, no this, not that, nothing. Whatever I tried to take in was out.
Wow.
My body just refused. So I ended up, and you know me, I'm a tall, skinny lady. I lost so many weight because my body just didn't accept to keep something, right? And that was really bad. And they put me on the cost which astronauts get, flying to what is it? Astronaut is not the word. To the moon, for example.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they have special cost,
right?
Special nutrition they get.
Yeah.
And they put me on that because I was losing so many weight, of course. And the only thing I could keep in was smoothies.
Oh, I love smoothies. Yeah.
Yeah, I have my own garden here, and and all the plants and everything. So I don't buy it. I just grab it from my garden, and I did smoothies for 1.5 years. I couldn't go out to eat with my sons. No chicken, no nothing at all. And that was my detoxification.
Yes.
Right, real fresh and photosynthetic and all the herbs and everything. That was what did good for me.
Yeah, it's very powerful. And when you just stay on smoothies, it gives your body a rest, the digestion, all your filtering organs. So that's great. And you rejuvenated yourself.
Yeah, completely.
That's great.
That was my case. Yes. So we are nearly at the end, Nancy. Did we cover what we wanted to cover? So of course I will put everything in the show notes. So
Perfect.
From the total wellness empowerment and the monthly membership program there you have, and the podcast, and you gifted us with a Skype phone session for the Fly podcast. So thank you for that.
You're welcome.
And did we miss something?
No, I think that we convey the message for the person to think out of the box and to become their best advocate and owning their life, not only health, but happiness, passion, and purpose.
Yes, that's a wonderful last sentence.
I love it. It was a pleasure.
That's great. So I will put that all together. Anyway, the listeners might be on the run or whatever. It's easier to look it up. And then I said, thank you for being here, Nancy.
Thank you.
Greetings to two lovely boys.
Thank you so much.
And
it was a pleasure.
Give them a hug, and greeting to Mark being on. I think it's next week he's coming on. And I will call Michael because I have a question with tagging people. So when I do the episodes, I always tag the expert, right? So make sure you see it. Yeah. And sometimes I can tag it easily, the person, and sometimes not. Wow. So I struggled with that at the last week. And I said, oh, this is a question for Michael.
Yes. Definitely ask him. You have his email, right?
Yes.
I would ask him, and if he knows it, he'll tell you. He knows it. I don't know.
He knows it.
I always go to them.
I have the feeling he knows that. So I have to come up to him with this question because, I'm not too technical. I just didn't find out. So there's a lot you come into it, right, by doing it. Mm-hmm. But I could talk to you or other experts all day. I mean, the people relationship business. But with the technical stuff, it's just not. I have to do what I do, right? Exactly. But I rather outsource it. So
that's the best way. So I love the fact that you really took off with your podcast. It's amazing. You're amazing.
Yeah, like it.
Yeah, you should be proud of yourself. I'm going to review it. And where do you see, like, that you did a lot of interviews? You want to continue doing that amount, or just pick certain days to do it? Where do you see yourself going with that?
Well, Nancy, that's a great question. And initially, I wanted to air once on Tuesdays, once a week. And then I ended up to have so many people book that I was with my bookings in 2020.
Wow.
So then I had the feeling, I said, oh, that can't be true. I'm doing the interview now, and
Wow.
I need to tell you to air next year. So this is a long distance, right? And I said, I'm not too much the thinking person. I'm the feeling person, right? So I had the feeling, no, this is not good, because then it really has no connection from now to next year, and then I came up with the idea to air twice. So
Right.
now I'm airing Tuesday and Thursday. And I did the interviews on Monday, Tuesday, and Saturday.
Wow.
And well, in between is the other preparation. And I always love to be prepared when I go to the interview. And because yeah, I will tell that after. Well, anyway, then I said, okay, then I need to air twice a week. So now I'm with my booking at the end of October, and
Wow.
I'm airing twice. So put this only for 1 week, I would be really I was in April or May.
Wow.
in 2020. So now I was airing twice. That's less, but yeah, it's really taking off.
And what are you going to do in 2020? You're going to continue twice a week, or is that what you want to do?
My planning was actually to air twice. So now I'm airing once, and now I'm airing twice. Oh, my dog is just waking up.
Oh, even in 2020, you want to do twice?
No, for now. And
Okay.
I have the online summit coming up in summer.
Oh,
And my
okay.
book is coming out in by the end of the year. So this is sort of really packed. Everything is packed there.
And what's the title of the book going to be?
The same. It's all about
Oh,
life.
the same.
So,
wow.
Yeah. So this is partly my biography, because
Oh, I love it.
it's partly yeah. Of course, it's a story about my life, and how it was, and what I did discover, and why I'm doing what I'm doing now. And it's a part inside which is yeah, all about the system I was setting up and everything. So this is really amazing. And yeah, this is on the list for today, not for today, for this year. And next year, I don't know, maybe I will do another podcast. Maybe I will go to once a week. So, well, I was a little bit shocked that I will I will air with all the interviews there booked and up to 2020. And when I heard Michael Neely, he had the same problem, and I don't know how he solved it. I didn't talk to him after the interview we had, but well, I solved it for myself now in doing it twice a week, the podcast. But yeah, it's still,
it's amazing. Like, I love it. When you get your book done, then I'd love to promote that and have you on my Total Wellness Empowerment podcast, because I'd love to promote that. You're definitely going to get it done this year?
yeah.
Okay.
It's sort of just because of Tampa and all that, doing that and putting that together. It's I had the podcast and the launch here in Focus, and now the summit is in the launch so soon, and the book is a project, it's an ongoing project.
Perfect.
In the background, right?
Yeah.
So what I intended to do is a retreat, because I love to meet personally with my tribe, but that was prolonged to next year because this is totally too much this year.
Isn't that amazing though? Like the New Media Summit, I really didn't have any idea what it was about. I just was going because Mark said he was asked to be an icon, and I was like, oh, it's February and in New York it's snowing, and I was like, oh, how about Michael and I? Because he's like, hey, do you and Michael want to come? I'm like, sure. So he's like, okay, I'll get you guys in. I'll get you a ticket. Okay, great. So I was like, I've been to Podcast Movement. He spoke there. So I've been to those things, and you don't participate. You just sit and learn. And I didn't realize we had to pitch. And I was like, oh my good God, right? So I really didn't go to pitch. I was so impressed by the connections. And when I left there, after hearing that Dr. Rahn, the 81-year-old man, write a book at 80 years old, I've had a book I've been working on for 2 years, and I said to my guys, I was like, I'm getting that book done. I am not waiting till I'm 80 years old to get that. I was so impressed by everyone. Yeah. I didn't know I didn't know anything about this event until we went with Mark. How did you hear about it?
I'm with originally with another podcaster who is JLD, John Lee Dumas, and he has the Fire podcast. So a lot of things I modeled from him. Mm-hmm. And then I came to a webinar, I think was with Steve. And then, sort of I observed from time to time. And that's how I came there. Yeah, but I'm not going this year. I intended to, but I can manage.
But it's too soon, isn't it? Honestly, like I said to myself, my God, Mark is going. We'll go with him because Michael has to speak at an event in San Diego. So the beginning of the week is Mark, and the end of the week, Michael's presenting. So I was like, I'm going for both. Why not? But you know that it takes so long to catch up on everything that you planned on doing from the first one. If September came around, like I don't plan on pitching or anything because I'm like, it's too soon. I'm still working on all these things. Like it does have a ripple effect in a positive way if you choose to do it.
Yeah. You know? Yeah. And I have really many speakers, icons as well as participants there who I relate. I also had some people coming up to me, which I don't relate, and this is not authentic to me, and I'm not bad with them. It's not a fit, right, for me. So I said them very politely, well, this is not, it doesn't fit, and that is totally okay, right? Mm-hmm. So, but I got a lot of connections from there, and I have my own Facebook group for a long time, and I'm very connected to so many coaches in the area. Either they have been my own mentors, or we are somehow connected, and that is my benefit. My base here in Facebook is not friends. They post from network or whatever. It's mostly coaches, right? So colleagues.
That's great.
Yeah, and that's my benefit now.
That's wonderful.
Yeah. And I bringing up people that I really relate to, I connect to, and that, of course, have relate to my topic, right?
Right. It's great. It's amazing. I'm so impressed by you. You're really amazing. So
Thank
keep up
you.
the great work. I mean, you're doing so much, and it's definitely going to empower others in a positive way.
Yeah, I'm sure of that, and that's why I'm doing it, and I just love it. So I turned my business around from being stuck in the Frankfurt Rhine-Main area here with the real estate, because the house is here, the flats are here, and I didn't want to have that anymore. I love to travel, and I often go to the Caribbean because my friends are there. So I go to visit them once a year at least, and in Barbados. And if I'm not here in the real estate business, I don't earn a dime, right? So that's not possible, and that's why I say I'm a huge fan of freedom and of independency, and I was just looking how could I facilitate myself with that, right? And my dream was to have my business in my laptop.
Yes.
And finally I'm there, right? So when I am at my girlfriend in visiting in Barbados, I just take everywhere I go, I take my laptop with me. I have my whole business in there, and I can work wherever I am, right? I have the Zoom account. You're over there in New York, I'm here in Germany, and we can work like you would be around the corner.
It's amazing.
Right? That's how I use technology. And
I love it.
That's just great. And I was playing golf this afternoon with a good friend. And then I said, I know I cannot stay for another beer. I have a wonderful lady coming up now. I need to go to the office. Yeah, but I'm... even when I'm here, I love my outside. I'm an outdoor freak. I'm not made for the inside, and I'm not made for sitting too much. This is not good for me. I need to I'm missing the word, to exercise, right?
Yes.
And but most of the times when I have some work to do, which obviously I have with all the preparation, everything here with the podcast, but I take my laptop and I sit on my terrace, or I have my desk there on my terrace.
That's nice. I love it.
Yeah, I love to be outside.
That's great.
But I learned all that, right? So I just listen to my body and to my heart and to my soul, which I did not do before.
Exactly. But thank God you did, because now you're living your life the way you want.
Yeah.
That's great.
That's just wonderful. That keeps me totally fulfilled, because I do what I love. And I had such an amazing interview with an author yesterday, and with Michael Levitt and Eric also, and it's just fascinating. So next week Daniel Gomez is coming up here. So many interesting people, right?
Right.
Who really who we have in common that they want to share something with the world, right? What they want to give, and yeah, it's amazing.
It's great.
I love that.
I love it. Really, that's great. So now, what are you doing for the rest of the evening? What time is it?
It is 8:30 p.m. And I'm going for a glass of wine now.
Oh, good. That's fantastic. I'm so happy. Have a good time.
Thanks for listening in. I hope you got new inspiration to seek help and surrender to love, no matter what situation you're in.
Hopefully you could take away that transformation is possible. By getting the right support, you can embrace life joyfully and enjoy your life on your own authentic terms. Please rate and review the Freestyle Your Life podcast on freestyle-your-life.com/podcast if you like today's talk, and make sure you qualify for the amazing I Love to Fly podcast giveaway by subscribing and referring 3 friends to the Freestyle Your Life podcast. All experts and myself are happy to assist and support you. Just reach out to us. Thanks for joining us today, and don't forget to tune in next Thursday and listen in to your next inspiration on how to freestyle your life. You'll learn another priceless shortcut on how to break free and restyle your life on your own authentic terms. Becoming authentically you will ease your life and business. Remember, Fly Nation, break free and fly. Looking forward to talk to you next Thursday. Bye.